Hey, my name's Steve Little. I'm SVP Client Success here at NIX, and I look after key and strategic clients across the UK and Ireland region. I'm joined here today by my colleague Orest. Orest, please go ahead.
Hi, my name is Orest Forhala. I'm Director of Alliances and Partnerships at NIX, and I'm responsible also for our analyst relations. And we had the pleasure with Steve to attend Gartner Infrastructure and Operations Conference in London quite recently, and we are here to share with you some key takeaways from that conference.
It was really good. We spent a couple of days there at the Gartner conference, and one of the things that really came through as a theme, kept coming through as a theme, was this idea that there is a realization in the industry now, the industry in which we work, the industry that is in the past thought leading and shaping the future, that actually the future didn't quite turn out the way people expected in terms of AI. I think there is a real understanding now that there was maybe an expectation that was set, and now we're starting to see a reality. Organizations are really recognizing that outcomes so far have not matched ambition, and maybe they need to think about doing things a little bit differently, perhaps a little bit more strategically, and certainly with partners and I think supportive professionals to help shape things really and plan things properly. What do you think, Orest?
Definitely, I can only support that. So the industry is definitely moving beyond that so-called peak of inflated expectations. Yeah. So now we are in the reality phase, and this is the part of the cycle where the teams have actually to deliver real value. And the messages, they are pretty clear. The main blocker, it isn't the tech itself. It's whether the organizations are actually ready to implement it, to use it to the fullest.
Yeah, I mean, AI introduces new dependencies, data quality, cloud performance, process redesign. Change management is a really big thing. I think what people are finding now is pockets of organizations have done things without control, without, this is a phrase you'll hear a lot, without the guardrails perhaps, that are really recommended in order to get success through proof of concepts and so on and so forth. And I think now really organizations are recognizing, and the message that we heard consistently at the Gartner conference was that the foundations must be matured before AI can bring the success and the ROI that exists in those high expectation space.
Yes, and precisely that's where partners like NIX can contribute. So we can help organizations determine their current state and then articulate a realistic destination and build a structured pathway between two of those points.
We, as an organization here at NIX, we kind of, what is emerging for us is that there are three pillars, and we are building our process and our consulting and our way forward really around these three things. It's around AI strategy, it's around AI readiness, and it's around AI enablement. So, in the AI strategy space, what organizations need to be clear on what it is they're trying to achieve with AI. Which problems are they trying to solve? And that again came through in a number of the sessions that we had at Gartner. Focus on the problems that you're trying to solve. Which capabilities matter the most? How does AI align with business objectives? What are you doing to solve today's problems, and how are you then aligning with strategic objectives, therefore, that exist in your company? So that, really is around the strategy part as one of the pillars. Then you've got to think about the whole position on readiness. Is your organization ready for what AI improvements may well bring? You've got to think about the current state, and the current state across your cloud posture, data maturity and governance, organizational structure, teams capability and culture, the willingness to embrace this change. People are moving at different rates of understanding and, I think importantly, comfortability with change for AI. And organizations that are allowing perhaps these differences rather than everybody having to march at the same speed are really succeeding. There is trial. There is trial where there is high value. And I think that readiness assessment is something that we're finding to be really important, so that we can consider what foundations are there and really understand through gap analysis what is going to need to be done through readiness. in some of the readiness, there are opportunities where automation, for instance, can be a real enabler to successful implementation of AI in certain parts of workflows. So I think that readiness assessment is really key. So we've thought about strategy, we've thought about readiness, and now it's about enablement. And then we work with clients to go through the change program that modernizes technology. We establish governance models, and we work, governance in a way that is guardrails, not governance in a way that is restrictive. We know there is a need for the change. We know that there is a need for the return on investment from these kind of initiatives. But the governance or guardrails, which I prefer to use, and I think the industry is comfortable with in terms of the language, is really helpful to make sure that you don't have, as I say, these pockets that are developing where you don't really know what's going on and what the business is being exposed to. So there is a sense of the guardrails, building and integrating AI solutions. So through trial, through proof of concept, really highly measurable efficiencies, looking at the ROIs. Those are the kind of things that we can help to make sure are in place. And then finally, supporting teams through the transition. Having a partner with you who knows what the process is, who has done this, who has demonstrable capabilities in this space. The support is not just one of making sure that everybody knows the playbook, but it's also having somebody there that can be that support for individuals in the team, can help to identify how this thing is being implemented and any in-flight changes that maybe need to be adopted. So yeah, we think about it in currently those three ways when we think about our best way forward for this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I believe it's a pretty comprehensive approach that we have with adoption, with readiness. And as we talk with customers about it, I think you could agree with us, and also that's what we heard at Gartner's sessions, that enterprises, they then should focus on three areas, and those areas are data foundations and governance. Yeah? So what is my underlying data? AI is fundamentally dependent on data. So let us be consistent about what we have as a data inside our organization. Let's have a strong ambition to build a fundamental, consistent data ecosystem inside our organization. Let's improve the data pipelines. Let's establish governance and ensure data quality before we dive into AI implementation at scale in our organization. Second,
we heard that age-old thing, Orest, didn't we? It's kind of, and this is not how it was described from the stage, but it was bad in, bad out. And I say that
exactly.
to be polite and clean for the purpose of the recording, but yeah.
Yeah, so we cannot run away from what's inside our systems already, and AI will only amplify it. Yeah, so let's take one step back. Let's have a look on what's inside under the hood, and then put this shiny new engine on top of it when we are ready for it. And it also quite often means, if we speak about engines, it requires modernization of our engine. Sometimes we need a turbine to reinforce our engine. And what I mean by that is that sometimes organizations first should have a look on their legacy systems. Maybe there is some monolithic structure. Maybe there is some legacy software that first needs to be improved, and it needs to be modernized. First, before using AI on top of it. And those initiatives, they require a partner as NIX to dive deep into it. And that's actually one of our differentiators. I keep on repeating and I keep on hearing from customers. They appreciate so much our ability to deal with complex modernizations. So there are many companies that can help do a quick lift and shift migration, but there are a few of them that could really dive deep into the technology. And having the North Star we defined previously when you, Steve, described that we have this AI readiness, AI strategy in place. So keeping that in mind, doing the modernization to be AI ready in the future and future proof, if I may use another buzzword, that's what we are good at. So the third component that we see is growing in attention in Gartner's conversations and also our conversations with customers is the cloud architecture and operational maturity of the organization. Yeah, we were speaking about legacy structures, legacy frameworks, monoliths. They required one skill set of people inside your organization to maintain it and to develop it further. So what kind of skill set of people you require for the future? Yeah. So how to navigate the cloud environments, multi-cloud environments, hybrid cloud, and then the data sovereignty comes in play, and all the limitations that are put into place and will be put into place to protect us, yeah, from AI misuse. So that's next question, and definitely the skill set and the architecture, the design of the cloud solutions, they should be future-proof in that sense as well.
Yeah, and our aim as an organization is to help to guide our clients through this journey responsibly. We work with clients who are all over the world in many industry verticals. In many cases in those industry verticals, there is heavy regulation, heavy compliance. There is a lot of responsibility in doing it and doing it right. And the things that we're recommending as really good foundations come from our understanding of working across the world with global organizations where sometimes there is heavy compliance and heavy regulation. And having the confidence and the skills and the competencies within our business to really do well in that space in setting organizations up for success. I think, we want and we stand ready to support that journey. We'll provide strategic insight, the engineering capability and competency that's needed to make the transformation real. We're at a point now where, and I think in one of the sessions, maybe glibly, somebody was saying money has been thrown from boardrooms into change in the AI space. Perhaps that's not the case. I don't think any boardroom in recent times are throwing money around, but I do think investments have been made in areas where there was some hope, not really much of a plan, not really very good guardrails. There is a realization now that, okay, the expectation perhaps was set too high, but there are still huge advantages to organizations that can do this properly. And doing it properly will bring the gains, but doing it properly requires a structure. It requires the guardrails. It requires, I have to say, in many cases, working with organizations like ours who have the framework for success. And that's what we're here for. We want to help the clients we've got. We want to help the clients we haven't yet met and we're going to work with in the future to really make something of this, because it is here. It should happen. It is going to happen. Why not have it happen in ways that really get you to time to value in a much quicker way? And NIX is here to help and support with that. Orest, anything you want to say before we close?
Fully support this closing statement. I can only add that we have a great set of partners of ours, partners of NIX, that already are halfway through the journey, are on the edge really of implementation of those solutions. And we are ready to bring those partner solutions to our customers and to make them benefit of them and accelerate their journey, make them more confident in their journey, and support them not only with power of NIX, but also with power of our extended partner ecosystem.
Thanks, Orest, for joining me today on this session. And we were here to talk about the session with Gartner. Thanks also to our friends and partners at Gartner for putting on a really brilliant conference and having some fantastic speakers there. It was our real pleasure to be there, to partake in that, and incredibly insightful and some really strong messages coming through. So I personally enjoyed it a lot. Look forward to the next one. And of course, look forward to our next one of these sessions, Orest. Thanks very much, everybody. Take care.
Thank you so much, Steve.